Welcome to Fintech Diary. Every week, we speak to an industry expert who's part of the fintech revolution. In the world of fintechs, which is based on constant evolution and innovation, we question change makers on how do they plan ahead and read the future developments. The focus of the Fintech Diary is to get the breadth and depth of every segment related to fintech in every chapter that we have. My name is Amol Dekh and I'm the editor of ETBFSI.com, and my guest for this chapter is Upasana Taku, co-founder and COO MobiKwik. Upasana, glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amol. Pleasure to be here.
Sure, thank you so much. So good to see you. Tell you that the fintech industry, has been has reached to a different level. At least I see a lot of interest from a lot of investors, people, bankers, the BFSI ecosystem, and it's good to see we have large numbers of unicorns also in the fintech space. So, Upasana, to begin with, let me ask you a basic question because you are kind of a little older in the fintech space, not just a 2 to 3 year old company now. You started, if I'm not wrong, in 2009, 10 maybe, and we are in 2022. So, do you think, I mean, if I could ask you specifically, how has the industry changed in the last 10 years? And if you look at MobiKwik, what kind of major changes that you have done in last 10 years, specifically in your business model?
To start with, firstly, I'm not very old. So, Amol, I'm taking I'm taking this the fun way. I'm not very old. The company is also not very old. Yes, we are a 10-year-old company. But the fintech opportunity in India is extremely large. And I don't think that anyone who has a large platform in India, whether it is fintech or e-commerce or any space, I think there is no stopping. There is a very long, long runway to growth. So to give you a view about where is MobiKwik in this picture. So MobiKwik is now a large and credible established player in the market with 120 million users on our platform, on our app, and more than 3 million merchants who accept payments via MobiKwik. And in addition to our fast growing consumer payments business, which has grown at the rate of about 150% year over year in FY22, we have also built out in the last few years several financial products. Buy now, pay later is our key focus area in the financial product spectrum, where today we have the largest number of pre-approved users for buy now, pay later. That number stands at about 25 million, of which approximately 3 million are actively using our buy now, pay later. And just so I can explain to you what is our mission and what is driving us forward, MobiKwik started from payments, wants to enable daily life payments for the user, make bread and butter revenue from there, understand the user and insights on the user from there, then offer them their first credit product, first credit experience. Today, we are offering credit in 700 towns and cities of the country. That is the power of a digital platform where no bank, no NBFC is able to reach. We are able to reach, and we are trying to bring the first credit product to the user. Not only that, after we have tested the user on this small ticket buy now pay later product, which is in the range of 3,000 to 10,000 rupees, then we also provide a large ticket loan to the user. We also offer mutual fund investments, gold investments, as well as insurance and saving products to the user. So from our perspective, what is the roadmap? The roadmap is we are servicing the underserved but banked users of the country, people who don't bank with the Kotaks and the Axis of the world. That's a 500 million population in India. And that's where we are trying to make a difference. We want to serve these users on payments, on credit, on savings, on insurance, and all their money needs. And that's sort of the long-term vision, almost like a digital bank vision that we are gunning after.
Noted your points, Upasana, and thanks for decoding the basic structure for us. And yes, you are the youngest company, no doubt about it. When I look at the companies which are just coming in maybe 2 to 3 years, that was what I mean, because every day there is a new fintech company coming into the picture. So Upasana, let me understand more about the payment space. You says that bread and butter should come from the payment, or that is the focus. But is it actually happening? Why I'm also asking is maybe when you started and where we are today, most of the companies or the wallets who started with payments, either they are no more in the industry, they already vanished, or either they shifted to a lending product. I mean, we'll come to a lending little later. So is payment actually making more sense in terms of profitability for the fintech companies or maybe for MobiKwik?
So I'll tell you what payments brings to us. Payments brings to us scale. Payments is our user acquisition engine. We have the lowest customer acquisition cost in the entire country, which stands at around 10 to 12 rupees. That's because we acquire most of our users, 80% of our users for the last 3 years. We've been acquiring completely for free from all the payment use cases, daily life use cases that we are present in. So once the user has come via my payments use case and done one transaction, whether they've ordered food, grocery, travel, or just paid a phone bill or a broadband bill, that is a good enough way for the user to come to the platform. But I want to clarify, you mentioned there are many players who started, but they are nowhere to be seen. This is not for the faint hearted. I didn't move back from the valley to build a business and sell it to somebody in 5 years. I'm here for the long haul. I want to create a long-term legacy. So yes, our payments business has been built the right way. We make 1.8% revenue on every spend that a user does at any merchant of ours. And we are able to generate a 10 to 15% profitable contribution margin on this transaction. So revenue minus the cost of processing the transaction minus marketing incentives still gives me 10 to 15% profitable contribution margin. And I'm happy to inform you that our payments business is profitable, our BNPL business is profitable, all our cross-sell businesses are profitable, and the company at the overall level is profitable for 2 consecutive quarters in a row, December 21 as well as March 22.
That's really nice to know that, Upasana, because I see a lot of companies. I mean, I'm going to talk about the credit, but on the payment side, are not making that much money. Obviously, user acquisition is the large agenda which most of the fintech companies are carrying. So let me move to the BNPL or the credit side. Now. So what I have been seeing is everybody is getting into the credit space. I can understand, perhaps the margins are a little better there. Perhaps that is a strong business model because you will lend and then you will, get some repayments and some margins will be there. But are you seeing any issues specifically with the repayments? Because the audience or the population that you're catering to is absolutely new to the credit. So one, what is your specific learning towards this new area or the new segment of people which borrowing for the first time? And second, are you actually witnessing large number of issues specific with the repayments? Because there are certain, drawbacks of the BNPL as well, which I have seen or observed with a lot of other fintech players.
So see, I can't talk about the experience of others, but what I can tell you is that most standalone credit companies, let's say I started a company today or I started 2, 3 years ago, and I'm building just a consumer lending business. Now, in order to build that business, I will have to first acquire the user. And when I acquire the user, I will pay a customer acquisition cost anywhere around 1,000 rupees or higher, maybe even 2,000 rupees. Now, automatically, if you've acquired the user for, let's take 1,500 rupees, you can't give the user a 5,000 rupee loan or even 10,000 rupee loan because you won't make money. So automatically these companies, because they've spent so much money to acquire the user, they end up giving the user directly the first loan is 40-50,000 rupee, 3 months, 6-month EMI product. And again, the performance there is quite poor, as is well known. We are not doing this because the advantage to us is because we are a platform business. So I already have 120 million users, 55 million KYC users. And out of those 55 million, I have pre-approved 25 million for my credit product because I have substantial data on their spending behavior. And their when I offer them even a 1,000 rupee or 3,000 rupee credit line, my risk is very low because I'm offering a small ticket size. And in a way, I am underwriting the user's own spends. So as an example, if Amol has been spending 2,000 rupees on MobiKwik for the last 6-7 months consistently, then I will give you a credit line of let's say 3,500 rupees because those are तो आप अपने जेब से already खर्च रहे थे. So I want to give you a little bit more because that's sort of, the aspirational value that I'm trying to give to the user. So because we are giving small ticket credit to so many of these users, and these users are not getting credit from any other place because they will not qualify. Therefore, what I'm seeing is the repayment rates are very high. So our numbers are public on our website. Our credit loss rates prior to COVID were 1.8%. During COVID, they went up to 5%. And as of December 21, they are again back to 1.77%.
Okay. Noted your point. So out of these 25 million customers where you have kind of approved credit line, apart from this, how many new customers are specifically coming for a credit line on the platform? And out of these 3 million customers, which are specifically for the BNPL, how many are the active customers?
I already mentioned that about 3 million users are active BNPL credit customers that are actively using the product as of March 22, out of the 25 million pre-approved customers. So that's the active credit base, and that number is growing very rapidly. Last year in March 21, that number was 740K, 7.4 lakhs. And from there, that number has grown to 2.9 million as of March 22. So you can see substantial growth in terms of new users engaging. And not only are new users starting to use BNPL, but also the user who has once used it, because our product is like a 15-day credit card product. So you use it once, paid back on time, again the line is available to you, again you use it, again you paid back, and it's again. So we are seeing repeat rates in the range of 80 to 82% on these users who are repeatedly using it in several cycles during a year. So the repeat cohorts on the product are very strong, as well as the new users joining our BNPL product. That number is also fairly large. Was there another question? Did I miss it?
No. I think you actually answered that. My question was only on the specifically how many are the active users there. That part I wanted to understand more on that front.
I just want to clarify that this is the number of active users just on the BNPL segment. In terms of our payments business, that number will be much, much larger.
And in addition to that, I was also willing to learn in terms of how many are the new customers specifically coming on the credit side by any chance you looked at the data, because as you said that people are coming for payment, you are obtaining the data in terms of churning out and trying to understand their behavior. But specifically, the people are coming for the BNPL side, not the payment side. Is there any high number or something like that?
So Amol, I won't be able to tell you how many people are coming just for BNPL, but I can tell you that we acquire almost 2.5 million users, new users every month. So for the full year, about 25, 26 million users we have acquired. And by default, every user who downloads the app has to first, do the KYC and become a payments user. And only then, we offer BNPL to them. Very, very selectively. Let's say a customer like you or me has joined MobiKwik. Then because we will find your credit profile and your credit score in the bureaus, then we may offer you BNPL on day one or in the first week of joining the MobiKwik platform. But most of the new to credit users who don't have a footprint on the credit bureaus, there is very limited information available, no credit product available. There, they may have come for BNPL, but we will not offer them BNPL on day one, because we will definitely wait and watch and try to first see them spend their own money and understand their daily life patterns. And only then, after looking at their data for some time, will we approve them for BNPL.
Sure. Let me shoot one more question here on BNPL, because there is a remarkable development in this product. Even small fintech companies which just emerged maybe 2 years back are dispersing maybe 15 to 20,000 BNPL loans every day. You said that you are acquiring 2.5 million customers every month. So data is really high. So obviously, which means that there is a huge demand. But considering credit as a risk product, considering people may face challenges in repayments, what makes you confident that this particular product of BNPL will be successful for you?
Like I explained before also, people who are setting up their shop standalone for the credit businesses, they have a huge disadvantage because they are not they don't have access to users. So, $50-20 million is not going to help someone. In fact, even $200 million will not help you acquire, 100 million customers anytime soon. It will take time for people to acquire scale of users and then to have proprietary data on those users, because it's a chicken and egg. If as a user, I've never had access to credit, then it also means that in the bureau, there is no data on me. So typically banks and credit organizations, they rely on the bureaus to do underwriting. And in our case, we have a very unique thing because of our payments business and our platform. Our buy now pay later business gets a lot of things for free. Very large number of users are free for the BNPL business. KYC is freely available, and very strong data profile, proprietary data, and a machine learning credit score built on top of that is also freely available. In addition, we have a very large merchant network. So these kind of moats are very difficult for any standalone new company to acquire. Sure, there are many companies who have raised money. There are companies who have anywhere between 3 to 5 million users and are doing credit products. But frankly speaking, I'm not really concerned about them because our scale is much, much higher. And the need of India is not serving the customer who is making 50,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees in salary, because every bank and NBFC wants to offer them a credit product. The need in India, 90% of Indians earn less than 50,000 rupees, in fact, less than 40,000 rupees per month. And that's where MobiKwik is trying to go. That's where we want to make an impact. Bring financial services, democratize them for the large masses of Bharat.
Noted your points. Let me shoot one more question specifically on the credit side. The another change, or maybe the layer which most of the fintech companies are adding to the credit side, is offering credit card, which was only limited to banks earlier. Now, even the fintech companies have started offering credit card, not just your credit line in the mailbox or your mobile application, but a typical credit card where you can go and spend. Recently, RBI also allowed NBFCs to go for a credit card. Why there is so much rally? Because I understand your MobiKwik is offering credit card. Is it more convenient for people to just go and tap and buy a loan or something like that? Can you just decode for us?
So see, if you are a fintech who has launched a credit product and it's a completely digital offering, where will the user spend it? So what credit companies were doing is that they were offering gift cards or gift vouchers. Then they started offering prepaid cards, and now credit cards, because if you're offering credit on a card, then the user can use it in many places in the entire merchant network. And all these credit companies or these fintechs, they did not have their own merchant network. So if you don't have your merchant network, then you have to issue a card. Otherwise, your user, where will they use the credit? If you're not giving a cash loan, you need a product that allows them to spend in many places. So we don't have that problem. We actually offer usage of buy now pay later anywhere and everywhere in India. How? Three form factors. Wherever you see a QR code in a physical store or in online checkout, you see pay with MobiKwik, you scan the QR and pay, or you check on the checkout, do a one-click checkout and you pay. Second, we also issue our own cards, Amex and RuPay cards, and our users are able to use MobiKwik wallet and the BNPL wherever the RuPay card and the Amex card is accepted. And third, and very interestingly, QR codes in India have become now interoperable. So a MobiKwik user is able to scan the QR code deployed by any of our competitors and is still able to pay with their buy now pay later. So truly, I'm building a product which can be used anywhere and everywhere. And the reason people are going after the card offering is because they don't have these rails. They don't have their own payment network. So therefore, the only way that they can get distribution for their credit product is by offering some sort of a card in partnership with a bank. And now NBFCs will be able to do it as well.
Right, because that's where I see a lot of uptake, and a lot of fintechs are talking about it. Apart from this, Upasana, now 2-3 more questions specifically about the MobiKwik. But I want you to tell us specifically about the data part, because we understand there were certain issues. There were a lot of what you can say reports about the data leakage part and all. So one, if you could tell us, because I'm talking to you for the first time after that whole episode, one, what went wrong? What are your major learnings? What was the communication that you had with the regulator, and whether that issue has resolved now?
I think we are way past that issue. And I think the conversations and the discussions between us and the regulators are fairly confidential, so I'm not privy to discuss them. I can assure you they will not be happy if we discuss, so I would not be able to discuss them. I can tell you that we are behind that. There were several actions and steps they wanted us to take to increase the security framework of our platform. And I can tell you that as of the end of 2021, we have completed all the actions and steps that we were asked to do.
Sure. But going ahead, do you also believe that, I mean, the Europe has GDPR, we are still talking about the data protection bill, which is not finalized yet. Do you think that it is really important to have a data protection bill, considering a lot of fintech, startups, banks, NBFCs are using data far more aggressively going ahead? And also the whole industry has to, form some strategy in terms of using and acquiring data.
Yeah, absolutely. I do believe that India needs some sort of data protection policies or law. And the reason for that is that, companies like us and several other fintechs are actually taking the consent of the user and using the user's data to provide them access to financial products. But there are several other companies that are blatantly misusing the data. As an example, there are sectors where, let's say, a user is gaming or doing buying several products for their household. There is no need for those platforms to have access to the full financial data of the user. I do believe that there are also fly by night operators who have blatantly misused consumer information. I can tell you that very strictly we are a fairly regulated company with several licenses, and this is an area that we take very seriously, and we do not collect any data on the user without the user's explicit consent that they would like to provide this information in order to be in order to be reviewed for a credit product.
Okay, sure. No worries. Let me move ahead and get your view specifically on the IPO side. You are in what stage right now? When can we expect an IPO? I know due to pandemic, a lot of companies postpone their plans, but considering you are already a profitable company right now, which could be a strong reason for you to hit the capital market, because then perhaps investors look at it very positively. So, in what stage are you right now in terms of hitting an IPO?
Well, we are very much an IPO ready company. We are a late stage fintech in India. We are growing very nicely, as I explained, 80 to 90% year over year growth and generating profits. 2 profitable quarters we have seen, and we intend to be on the same profitable growth path. We are keen to be listed on the public markets. You should be aware that we have the final SEBI approval. But currently the capital markets are not very amenable. They're very volatile and going up and down. And not just us, you will see that there aren't any tech IPOs happening currently at all since the beginning of this year. So we are also in the wait and watch mode. And meanwhile, we'll continue building up the business and bring access to financial products to more and more millions of Indians. So we are very much and continue to be an IPO ready company. When the markets are in good shape, when the time is right, you will see us up there.
Sure. I mean, we'll be happy to see you, because it's a good thing to see a lot of fintech companies that recently came into the market. But let me shoot one more bullet here. Does that worry you? Because the two large companies recently got listed from the fintech space, and their market value has eroded significantly within just 6 months. Does that worry you by any chance? In terms of, because you are also going for an IPO.
That's what I meant when I said the markets are volatile, and it is not just several companies and their performance, is also global macro factors that are in play with regard to the capital markets in India as well as abroad. It doesn't worry me as much because we are not really in a big hurry. As I told you, we are not burning cash, and as of September, the quarter ending December and the quarter ending March, we are actually generating cash. So being profitable, allows us to build out to our own destiny. So we control our own destiny. And when we do believe that investors, while they look at the sector, they also look at companies that are building in a contrarian way. We have always been a very focused company, not trying to build 20 products and being focused on a few product lines, business lines. We told the market that we will, last year we told them that from a 300 crores revenue, we will reach 500 to 550 crores as of March 22. And I'm happy to tell you, based on estimated numbers, that we are in that ballpark. We are very close to the number towards the top end. So approximately 540 crores of revenue we have booked for March 22. And while we are not profitable for the full financial year, we are profitable for the last 2 quarters. And we intend from going forward to continue that growth journey. So we are building a different company. We have a very clear vision, and our differentiation and contrarian way of building the company, not bleeding multiple millions of dollars, is very evident to the investor community. So we feel very confident in how we are building out the company, and at the right time, I'm sure we will have the opportunity to list the company in the time to come.
Certainly. Let me take one or two last questions specifically on the industry. Considering the large number of unicorns, considering the major, what you can say, significant response for the fintechs in India, where do you think the Indian fintech ecosystem is heading, or where are the Indian fintechs, going? What kind of growth are you seeing, and do you see in the Indian fintech ecosystem going ahead?
Firstly, the entire Indian startup ecosystem has been evolving very nicely and very rapidly. I can tell you, when we got started, I wasn't sure that we would have 100 unicorns so soon. So I'm very glad that the ecosystem has reached this scale. And I'd really like to congratulate and thank all the founders in the Indian startup ecosystem, as well as our Prime Minister, Modi ji, as well as all the government policies that have enabled us to get to this stage so rapidly. And within that, India becoming the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. And within that, fintech has a very, very large role to play. I think that, the things that have happened with regard to the pandemic in the last 2 years and the market correcting, in the recent months, I think that has given a lot of clarity to founders who are at earlier stages as to how to build their companies. There was a point when inflow of capital was fairly large, and people were raising left, right, and center. I think founders and leadership teams have also become very sensible and careful now as to how they are going to spend the money, how they are going to build out the business models. So irrational growth at any cost is something I think many companies are now changing gears and saying that, okay, we will take a goal of growing at 2x, 3x, even 4x, but at the same time we are going to run a budget in terms of how much we are going to burn for the year, or how soon are we going to reach contribution margin profitability. So I think that approach is very good, because that is how long term companies get built, legacies get built. Otherwise, point and shoot, raise it, spend it, then fire people, then shut down, all of those stories we have also seen. So I think the maturity level is increasing in the ecosystem. And I do see that rationality and sensible approaches in how to build the business is coming in the market. And therefore, I do believe that fintech will really play a huge role, not only in the build out of the startup ecosystem, but to actually bring access to products and services to the billions of Indians who currently are not well served on financial services.
Right. Could you also add in terms of what products you see will get good response? For example, I have my own reservations about BNPL, but but I see that every fintech is getting a good response to this product, which is a large, what you can say, in size. Second, payment. Obviously, we have seen a great revolution there. So apart from payment and lending, what are the other products you think will be well received in the Indian market going ahead?
Largely, if you think about it, financial services is built into few pipes. There's payments and transactions, there is credit and credit products, there is investment and wealth products, and there is protection, savings plans, insurance policies, etc. If you think about it, and then there are ancillary products around it. So whether it is for the consumer or for the merchant, supporting these things. So KYC services, onboarding services, taxation, and all of that. Now, the way I think about it is that in terms of the larger masses of the country, banking has reached. ATMs have reached, debit card has reached, but nothing else has reached them. Investment products were not available until a few years ago. You could not invest in a mutual fund less than 5,000 rupees. That itself has changed. You could not buy an insurance policy for less than 1,000 rupees. We are selling insurance policies with 100 rupee premium or even lower in some cases. So that is happening. I think from a long term or a holistic viewpoint of view, two things. There is the consumer and then there is the small merchant or small business. As we know, on both sides, we have lots of consumers and we have 30 to 40 million small businesses, small merchants in the country. They are also not being well served by the large financial institutions because their needs are different, their price points are different. So I think that all of these sectors will see growth. You will see people build a neobank for consumers. You will see people build a neobank or digital bank offering for small merchants. You will also see people building just verticals, specialization in one vertical, that I will only become an insurtech company, or I will only build a product where I provide taxation, payroll, and all these products bundled up together for the small business. So you will see specialization in any of these verticals relating to fintech. You will also see platform plays. That is sort of how I think about it.
Sure. And absolutely last question, Upasana. Obviously, you mentioned about IPO, you mentioned about different products which already you're aggressively doing that, whether BNPL or credit card or so many other things. Anything new that you want to try in next 2 years? Anything, out of the box that you want to try or you're going to do over the next 2 to 3 years?
So I think that two things. So the company has been growing very nicely organically for the last several years. We have not taken inorganic as a strategy. We've not adopted it. So maybe we will look at, getting some companies and founders to join us by virtue of, taking a major stake or buying them out. And those companies that add value in our overall mission of building a digital bank kind of structure for consumers as well as merchants. The second thought that is on mind is nothing concrete, but we are evaluating and thinking whether we should consider taking our platform and trying to make a dent in one of the international markets as well.
Sure, Upasana. I think sounds good. Always, pleasure talking to you. Meaningful thoughts for me and my audience. Thank you so much for your time. And ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap from Fintech Diary today. But click on the Fintech Diary, tap to our previous episodes. If you really like it, please don't forget to share it on the social media. And also, please ensure that you have subscribed to our daily newsletter, which is absolutely for free. So, thank you so much, Upasana, for your time and sharing all the information. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mol.